it's a chance to work with me for a week. And one of the big daily lessons that we're going to talk about in there is how to streamline your marketing. So it's this concept of you don't have to do everything all at once. So if you really pick three things and focus really well at it, I call it the rule of three, you're going to have much better results than if you try to do 16 things really badly. So if you're trying to be on every social media network and do a podcast and do a video program and do a blog and do whatever, you're one person. You have to sleep, right? And you have to do your work. You have to actually do the work for paying clients that you have. Otherwise, you've got a lot of time on your hands. So you just have to pick the top 2 or 3 things. You've got to double down on those and do them consistently and do them well and become an expert at it and make sure that you're constantly delivering. Your target audience is most likely in a lot of different places. And what I always advise clients, especially solopreneurs, because you can get away with this, is mesh where your target audience is with what you actually enjoy doing. And where there's overlap, just focus there. So yeah, my target audience is on Instagram and on Twitter and on LinkedIn and but I choose to only be in 3 places because I'm going to hit people there too. I don't have to be in 16 places badly. I can be in 3 places and hit people really, really well. So I think that's the biggest thing is you don't have to do every marketing tactic that's out there. And the beauty of really defining your brand strategy up front is that keeps you honest. It guides you so that you know you don't need to be doing every marketing tactic that comes your way. You know which ones are the right investments and which ones are not. But I think that's the thing that scares people of like, well, I'm doing Twitter and LinkedIn, but now, I'm finding out that I really need to be on Instagram, and other people doing what I do are on Instagram, and that's fine. But if you don't like doing it, stick with what you like doing. Your people are already in those other 2 places that you're targeting. So some experts might disagree with me on that. I actually know there are some experts that disagree with me on that, but it all comes down to, again, what do you do well? And what do you like doing? And you're only going to be consistent with marketing that you like doing and that you can do well. So don't try to be, pardon my language, half-ass at a bunch of great stuff. Try to be really, really good and consistent and valuable to your audience in a few key places.
And that's really interesting that you brought that up, because it's almost like, like the big and shiny object, like say like another social media platform, like, you have to be at this place because everyone is there. But in reality, that's not the case. And it's almost like you have to choose the ones that work for you instead of being everywhere where everyone is at, per se.
Right. I mean, there's definitely, as new technologies evolve, you may want to like replace one of the places one of the things you're doing with a new thing that comes out because it may perform better, or it may work better. So you have to be mindful of that. But yeah, it's absolutely true. It's avoiding that, like, oh, this is the new thing that everyone's doing, like I have to jump on it. You need to just have your metrics in mind and your goals in mind, and what are you getting from where you are now? If you're not seeing any traction from where you are now, then you probably do need to look at something new. But if you are seeing traction and you're reaching people and your audience is engaged, it's that fine balance of understanding that you are going to eventually need to evolve and try new things as new marketing things come in, but you don't have to do them all at once, right? And if you decide, hey, I'm going to go really big on Snapchat, then what are you going to drop? What are you going to back away from so that you can concentrate on being really good at Snapchat?
Yep, and to add on to, like, like for example, Facebook just recently, like they combined their Facebook Live with their stories, so it kind of makes sense for those who normally want to be on Facebook stories. They can use the live streaming to be there, and then to add on to that too, they just combined, like, did the Instagram stories to Facebook stories too, like kind of like a combination too. So it's almost like everything's evolving, but you kind of got to know how to use it, like be strategic, but at the same time be mindful of your audience, basically.
Yeah, and you know what? And honestly, depending on what you do, this might not be true for the majority of people watching this, but depending on what you do, you might not need to be active in social media. Like I know plenty of six-figure
Mm.
consultants that never had a website, never did social media. Remember, people used to do business before social media existed. Like we have to keep reminding ourselves that it's just a tool. It's a amazingly interactive and engaging tool that we can communicate with our audience and our customers and clients in a way we were never able to before. But I always tell people just calm down about social media. Like there have been hundreds of years of businesses doing well and succeeding without social media. Like, and there's a lot of what people would consider internet consultants that I see. They're not consultants on the internet, but they're digital, digital marketers or whatever, who are not active in social media. And it doesn't hurt. They've just got a really engaged email list, for example, and that's how they sell and that's how they reach their audience. So I think everyone just needs to calm down about social media. I think is the key, and just focus on a couple places and do those things really well. And you don't have to try every new thing that comes out until at such time you deem that maybe that's a better vehicle for you.
Okay, so that's really interesting that you said that. So basically, what I'm hearing is that it's you really can't you shouldn't try to like it's like to build a good business. It takes time, and you have to know what works and what doesn't work. So
Of course.
so
Mm-hmm.
so I got this question: How do you know? How do you know? What is working, especially like like in business well, like how you like growing your business slowly.
Mm-hmm.
How
Mm-hmm.
can we like learn to have the patience to watch our business grow slowly without worrying too much? Because sometimes the outside noise might say, "Oh, we got to grow in order to pay the bills," or we had to, you know, like there's a lot of like trials that we've been going through. How
Mm-hmm.
do we like keep that patience per se?
Well, I mean, I could just give sort of like the advice that I would follow is that what are your goals? Like none of this matters. You shouldn't be doing anything unless you have a goal. Like you shouldn't be doing Twitter, you shouldn't be doing videos, you shouldn't be doing live webinars unless you have a goal. Like what are you trying to get out of it? And I find that a lot of people I think that's what causes the shiny object syndrome is people don't have goals. They just go, oh, I need to do this. Why? Because everyone says I have to do it. What are you trying to get out of it? So we've talked about this before about you have to have your own definition of success, but you have to have some definition. You have to have some metric or some goal that you're going after in order to do this. So depending on your goal, you just need to track that progress. If your goal is, I want to make $1 million this year, that's a much longer term goal than like, I want to grow my email list by 10 people a day or what. I'm just making that up. I'm picking that out of the air. But, is your goal a daily goal or monthly goal or a quarterly goal or a yearly goal? And, with brand, brand is brand is really about building your reputation. So someone just asked me on my Facebook page about like, how long do I decide how long do I do things till I decide my brand isn't working? And I just thought that was such a weird question because it's not like one day it flips a switch and then all of a sudden it works or it doesn't. Like you're just like you build a personality or you build a reputation for yourself, your company needs to build a reputation. So if you're measuring the right metrics based on what you want, and you see an upward trajectory every day, that's progress. So then it. Now, if things get stagnant and you're not drawing in any new clients, you're not like all your social media numbers could go up through the roof. It doesn't matter if no one's paying you anything. So, I mean, unless that's what you want, right? Like, unless you're independently wealthy and you don't care and you just want a bunch of followers, like, I just think it's so funny that people get wrapped up around that because, like there's lots of people on Twitter. I mean, I love Twitter. I love the short attention span nature of Twitter. I love the immediacy of Twitter. I love sending tweets and sharing things. But I've only got like 4,500 followers or something on Twitter. Like, but I'm making money. I'm speaking at big conferences. Like I'm writing books. I'm like, so for me, I don't get all like, oh my God, I don't have 100,000 followers on Twitter. Like I'm a failure. Or, like, it's not a priority, for me. So, I mean, yeah, would I like that? Of course. Like it would be great to have more of an audience, but I get my audience in other places. And more importantly, I make revenue. I guess is what we always want to keep in mind, right? But again, depending on your goal. Like if your goal is more from promoting a cause, let's say, or your it's not so much about revenue, but it's about reaching people, then that's cool. Then reach is what you're going after. And you do want as many people in your audience as possible, and you want to influence as many people as possible. So long answer to your question, but I think as long as you have sight of your goals, that is what keeps your patience, because you have to set both long-term and short-term goals. Because if you set just a long-term goal of I want to start my business today, I have no clients, and I want to make $1 million next month, that's unrealistic. So have a mix of those long-term and short-term goals, so you don't lose hope, so you don't lose like steam. You want to keep momentum going, which is why I named my coaching program Momentum.
Awesome.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
do you find that that's true for you?
What's that, man?
Do you find that that's true for you, for your business and your goals?
Wait, long-term goals?
Long-term and short-term goals, yeah.
Yes, yeah, I do. I mean, this is how I'm seeing it right now. It's like for example, I just realized this, I guess a couple days ago that even though I haven't made revenue yet, I feel like I'm making progress because especially with my blog, I realized that I've been growing. It's been growing like consistently yearly. And at first I would focus on the daily numbers or whatever. But then I realized looking at numbers that it is growing. Every year has been more views or whatever, and I'm happy with my email list because even though it's not big numbers, it's
Right.
it's the right people right now, and
Exactly. They're engaged. Yeah.
exactly.
That's what matters.
So that
It's quality over quantity for sure. I mean, I think, and that's the other thing, just like something to look at is if you're not making revenue, are you asking for the sale? Or are you just continuing to be generous and give and never ask for like, here's what I do. Here's how you can hire me. Here's how, I'm not saying that just for you. I'm saying in general, what I find is people that get all caught up, clients that get caught up in social media and the followers and the blogging and the tactics. It's like you look at all that and they get frustrated because they're like, I'm not converting anything to sales. And I'm like, well, this is all great stuff, but you're not asking anybody to buy from you. Like nothing, not that you should ask someone to buy from you all the time, but like every, 10 to 20% of the content out there should be about, if your audience is finding value, like give them an opportunity to take a next step, give them an opportunity to convert to a buyer, and make they always say that in sales, like you have to ask for the sale. Like if you don't ask, you're never going to get it. So, it's just interesting that I see a lot of clients and a lot of like students in my programs who are like, oh, I'm doing all this stuff and it's great and people love it and they want more and I'm building my followers, and they're like, but I'm not making any money. And I'm like, well, because you're setting an expectation that you're just giving, and then you don't ask, or people don't really clearly understand what you do, and they don't understand what they could pay you money to do. They don't understand what value they could get out of hiring you, the collective you, from doing that. So, it's that balance of making sure you have those goals. So, if, like I said earlier, if only reach and increase in followers and fans and readers if that's your only goal, great, check it off. Like you've accomplished it. If you've got revenue goals that go with that, then that's a different story. You've got to figure out how to turn that really engaged audience into the right people to buy from you. So yeah, it's a mix.
yeah,
It's a blend.